I am thrilled to be talking to this group. This is such an important moment in time in the transition of your journey, the group of you, into your career as occupational therapists. You've invested a significant amount of time and money into your education, which will definitely pave the way for a profoundly meaningful career. And I'm so excited for you. As OTs, you'll have the power to create positive changes, not only in the lives of individuals, but also in families and communities, and even within norms and systems and organizations. I have a podcast that I call the Brave OT Podcast, and there's a flavor of a little bit of rebellion. And so if I can inspire you today to continue to ask great questions and challenge norms and systems that don't work, I hope that I can leave that impact. So it may be strange to hear this right now when your heads are filled with terms and theories and research findings, but I want to emphasize that your greatest impact won't come from what you already know. It will come from your willingness to embrace what you don't know. In today's world where burnout has become a pandemic among healthcare workers, acknowledging our limitations and recognizing the power of not knowing is more important than ever. Throughout your education, one of the most valuable lessons you've learned is how little you actually know. Science is an ongoing pursuit of truth through continuous learning, exploration, questioning assumptions, and challenging theories. It's a process that never actually reaches a definitive endpoint where all exploration ceases. And you understand this. I mean, this conference has been about research. As the great philosopher Socrates once said, the only true wisdom is knowing nothing. As Alice has said, I'm Carlin. I'm an occupational therapist. I've been at this for 20 years. Actually, I think it was 20 years this past month that I've been an OT, and I've owned an OT business for 16 years. I've worked in a variety of settings, and much of my career has been dedicated to working with adults in mental health. And most clients have been educated, objectively successful adults who often struggle with anxiety, perfectionism, and not surprisingly, burnout. Since 2019, I've begun to shift my focus toward applying those same skills to supporting OTs in their personal and professional development. And I've been grateful to be afforded opportunities like this to speak at a number of conferences and events internationally. I get to be the one with the accent, which is fun. But do you know what I'm asked to speak about most frequently? It isn't the job demands analysis tool that I've been developing with a group of Canadian occupational therapists to assess cognitive, behavioral, and sensory demands. That's kind of cool. People don't call me that. Talk about that. Isn't about integrating concepts of acceptance and commitment therapy with OT. Though I am asked to talk about it, it's not the number one most requested book that I give, or even how to motivate individuals with complex post traumatic stress to re engage in the world. It's not even how to connect OTs with important messages through starting a podcast or a YouTube channel or social media. Nope. The topic that I'm asked to speak to occupational therapists around the world most often is imposter syndrome. I really like the term. So we'll get into my feelings about that shortly. But we as humans don't like feelings of self doubt, normal as they are. Self doubt tends to creep in as you step into new territory, causing you to question your abilities, your knowledge, your skills, your overall worthiness. And so often I see OTs using this pathologizing term of imposter syndrome to describe their doubts. And then they get fixated on trying to overcome this doubt, but preventing them from moving toward making the real impact that they want to make. And this can lead to hours of researching and preparing outside of work with the hope that you'll know enough to face the challenges of the next day. It can also lead to an insatiable appetite for more certifications and courses as you strive to slay the imposter monster and gain the confidence to enter new arenas. Combine that with this perpetual pressure to do more with less in our healthcare systems. This path is the easy road to burnout. Now, don't get me wrong. I firmly believe in lifelong learning and the value of continuing education, always learning. However, there's a crucial distinction between being a curious lifelong learner and someone who learns merely to alleviate the feelings of inadequacy. So, as you embark on your careers, remember that you are your most valuable resource, and it's essential to prioritize your overall well being as a whole person, physically, emotionally, cognitively, spiritually. And by doing so, you'll be equipped to make a significant occupational impact in the environments where you work and live. And this means resisting the internal and external forces that drive you toward burnout. The relentless pursuit of perfection, the persistent feeling of not being good enough, the fear of failure, and the constant pressure of high demands with limited resources. These are the challenges that often plague therapists in their careers, not just early in their careers, at all stages of career. But I encourage you to resist these forces in the name of self preservation, systemic change, and in the name of science. So, with this in mind, I'd like to share a simple yet powerful statement to carry you through your journey. Proceed with curiosity and a willingness to learn. Your professional value lies not in the bibliography of your education or the endless list of credentials on your CV, but in the unique lens through which you view each situation and approach problem solving as an occupational therapist. It's about asking great questions, carefully observing the interaction of all unique variables in any situation, and allowing yourself to be genuinely curious. Release the expectation of being the fact knowing expert and instead embrace the expertise of not knowing. Set aside assumptions and uncover the truths of each situation. This is where you'll find new solutions, explore new angles, question gold standards. This is where innovation comes. One of the most delicious experience I have in my work is when colleagues from other professions email or call me and preface their question with, got this challenge and I'm not sure how to approach it, but I figured you'd know what to do. I love that. And what they're really meaning is that they have come to know that I would help them put that client challenge into perspective with my OT frameworks and identify where attention might go to find solutions. It's never the volumes of knowledge in my head after a lot of time doing this that they're after. It's always my unique OT way of problem solving. And this is actually really freeing. You don't know everything. So I encourage you to wear your not knowing like a cape of a superhero, an OT superhero. When we approach a new client with an all knowing expert way of walking into a problem with a ready made, well researched solution in hand, we are missing an opportunity. Furthermore, we're doing a disservice. This is the surest way to miss out on learning the truth of the situation and observing the golden nuggets that will inform your greatest impact. So embrace your not knowing. It's normal to experience self doubt as you enter into unfamiliar territories, but let's not pathologize it with terms like imposter syndrome. Did you know that the original term was actually imposter phenomenon? And it was coined by two American psychologists in 1978. Many of you weren't born yet. I was only 2 years old. It's coined by these psychologists to describe the experiences of women in high achieving positions. And these women were noted to doubt their abilities more than their male counterparts. So let's look curiously at this from a couple of perspectives. Let's first think about what these psychologists saw. They observed in 1978 high achieving women in the workplace who were noted to have more self doubt than their male counterparts. They noticed this had an impact on what they were doing. So there was an occupational impact. It impacted their occupational engagement. There were thoughts of feelings and feelings of self doubt, feeling anxious, uncertain, hesitant, behaving in a hesitant way, thoughts of not being good enough. And so these two psychologists concluded that these women experienced imposter phenomenon, a term which later evolved to be commonly referred to as imposter syndrome. This is person focused. And as a footnote, blaming individuals for their difficulty with occupational engagement and not acknowledging the environment has historically been an excellent way to oppress marginalized groups and perpetuate internalized oppression. So let's look at this as OTs would. I'm going to share my screen. So this is probably familiar as Canadian OT, proud of our CMOP-E. So if we observe that high achieving women in the workplace were noted in 1978 to have more self-doubt than their male counterparts, we would notice the occupation impact on their occupational performance in the workplace, their difficulty with engagement in occupation, or maybe even entering. We look at the person, like those psychologists did, feelings of self-doubt, feeling anxious, uncertain, hesitant, lots of not being good enough. We could probably go on to create more observations there. But we as OTs know it's not just that, right? It's not just the person and occupation. We know that it's all needs to be seen in that context, in that environmental context. So some pretty simple, we could write a whole dissertation on this, but looking at the social environment, there was gender inequality being challenged. The women's liberation movement was in place. Is challenging. Change is challenging in that way. The cultural context, there was sexism as a cultural norm. Racism was persisting. These things still persist. We know that. They were worse then. Institutional environment paid 62% of a male salary at that time. It's not even equal yet, but it's important to note. There's more to that, of course. A lot of times they were working behind the scenes and men were at the forefront. So that this was just a man's world. So as an occupational therapist, we might deliver a different impression. Maybe not that these women were experiencing imposter phenomenon, but I might conclude that in 1978, women faced barriers to performing optimally in their jobs when compared to their male counterparts as they entered the workplace, moved into higher level roles, and challenged a long history of misogyny, the history of oppression, and remaining cultural norms had a negative impact on their emotional well-being, feelings of confidence, and in turn had an impact on their occupational performance. Context is important. Did we need to know everything there was to know about self-doubt in order to come to this impression? We came to it through a unique OT way of looking at things. If we believe that we are the problem, that our self-doubt, our lack of comprehensive knowledge of everything, and our natural response to new challenges are flawed, then we will bury ourselves in overwork, exhaustive preparation, and detailed planning. Physically, emotionally, cognitively, and spiritually, we will exhaust ourselves. And by doing so, we'll limit ourselves and hinder the innovation required to change the systems and beliefs that need changing. My hope is that once you see it, you can't unsee it. So today, as you stand on the threshold of your occupational therapy career, it's vital to recognize the intrinsic value of approaching problems with curiosity and embracing your unique OT way of problem solving. This approach not only defines your professional value, but also serves as a powerful tool for self-preservation. As occupational therapists, you possess a remarkable lens through which you see the world, a lens shaped by your OT education experiences and innate qualities of creativity and innovation. Your ability to observe, listen, and integrate information in a curious manner sets you apart. And it is this distinct approach where your true value lies. By leaning into your curiosity and being open to new perspectives as a lifelong learner, you can navigate the challenges of your profession without succumbing to the pressures of overwork, over preparation, and needing to constantly prove yourself by knowing more and more and more. When you trust your unique problem solving abilities, you free yourself from the burden of not being good enough. So approach each client, each new situation, and each challenge with curiosity. This allows you to uncover the truths of the situation, discover golden nuggets of insight, and informs your greatest impact. This OT mindset empowers you to provide tailored and meaningful interventions that truly make a difference in the lives of those you serve. And furthermore, embracing curiosity and valuing your unique perspective acts as a protective shield against burnout. It encourages you to set boundaries, prioritize self care, and maintain healthy balance in your life, occupational balance, by recognizing that your value is not solely defined by the quantity of your work or the extent of your knowledge, but by your ability to approach challenges with an open mind. You create space for personal growth, resilience, and a long term sustainability in your career. So, Tees, as you head out into the world, I invite you to embrace the power of curiosity as a guiding force throughout your occupational therapy journey. Trust in your abilities, honor your unique problem solving approach, and let go of the notion that you must know everything. Remember that it's through the pursuit of knowledge, coupled with the humility of not knowing, that you will make your most significant contributions. So, as you embark on this path, I encourage you to support one another, foster a culture of collaboration, and advocate for systemic changes that will prioritize the well being of occupational therapists. By collectively embracing the value of curiosity and self preservation, we can continue in a profession that thrives on innovation, compassion, and sustainable impact. So, I want to congratulate you once again on your achievements. May your careers be marked by a genuine sense of curiosity, a deep appreciation for your unique problem solving abilities, and a steadfast commitment to your own well being. Thank you so much for choosing occupational therapy as your career and for being the change that this world needs. You can hear that. I did, yes. I had tears. My God. And good. You're fantastic as always. You're an absolute gem, and I'm really grateful to have you in my life. Well, thank you so much. And I will save it next second. Thank you. Appreciate that.